Okay, I will share my slides. Today, we have very nice presentations from 4 different countries, from Finland, from Netherlands, from Italy, and also South Africa. And we will focus on the data and data flows and data economy, also the productivity growth in the construction sector through the AI, and also AI construction safety and workers' health and safety. And we will start further introductions and welcome. And first of all, I'm Pia Sormunen. I'm an associate professor in Tampere University. And I also act as a vice president of CIB. And I'm coordinator of this new task group, AI in Construction. And my focus areas are in data and AI in supply chains management. Also, we work with the carbon neutral construction, lean construction, health and safe indoor environment. And of course, this area, AI, is very interesting worldwide. And that's the reason why we have established this task group. But before we go to this task group, I would like to give a floor for Don Ward, CEO of the CIB, telling us a little bit about the CIB, how it works. Please, Don.
Well, thank you very much, Pia, and welcome everyone. It's great to see such interest in this kickoff meeting for what we call TG 126, AI in Construction. Pia asked me just to give a brief summary of CIB and membership, and that need only take 2 minutes. Not everyone who is attending here are CIB members, and actually even those who are might find a quick refresher helpful. So I've got 3 slides to share with you. This is the first one. We're the Global Network for Collaboration for Innovation in the Built Environment. The formal name, we're an NGO established originally under the United Nations remit some 70 years ago. The official name, International Council for Research and Innovation in Buildings and Construction. The next slide, please. Thank you. We add value in 3 ways. We provide a global network for collaboration through 37 at the moment expert working commissions and task groups. This is the 37th, the latest one to be established. Task groups last for the order of 3 years, and they may then upgrade to a longer term working commission. And those task groups and commissions produce a number of outputs. Our flagship event is the World Building Congress, which is held every 3 years. The next one will be in May 2028 in Beijing. The second thing we do is support tomorrow's talent through a global network of student chapters and an online virtual network for early career researchers, which means early career, so that means 5 years after graduation, really. And there are a number of awards which we make available for younger people. And thirdly, we campaign on issues which matter in the sector, which affect research. So you can imagine that might be funding, but in particular, it's around the subject of impact and also the alignment with the UN Sustainable Development Goals, which we believe is the key framework for all research to focus on. Final slide, please. Thank you. So, as I said, at our heart, we're a membership organisation, over 100 corporate members, 3/4 of which are universities, over 3,000 people from those organisations and from the individual members, 60 different countries across all the continents of the world. And membership categories range from the full and associate membership for organisations to individual and ECR or student membership, if you like. There's a lot more detail there. This is a new task group, which would be normally open to members only, but given the huge interest in this topic, the early meetings will be open to everyone, to anyone. But at some point next year, this group will become limited to members only. I'm sure you understand that. So that's it really as an introduction to CIB. I apologize to other speakers that I won't be able to stay for the whole meeting because we have another meeting starting in about half an hour, in an hour, sorry. But I wish the task group every success, and we will certainly be following your progress very closely. Thank you, and Pia, back to you.
Sorry, Pia, your mic is muted.
You're muted.
Sorry. Yes, I will start again. Yes, thank you, Don. Yes, now we go back to the AI and construction task group. This is really new task group. We have established this task group last spring, and we are now in the first workshop of this new, relatively new, groundbreaking task group. And what our mission is that we want to bring together all the people who are working with the AI in construction, researchers, construction sectors, companies, associations, and share information, knowledge, and also share different kind of experience of using AI in construction. And the good thing here is that we are all, the CIP is a worldwide organization. We can bring all people together around the world. And of course, our mission is to accelerate sustainability and improve data management in construction, and also drive industrialization through the responsible AI. And if we go through the objectives of this task group, it's a really collaboration network. It's the network which accelerate sustainability. It's a task group also which address future needs, what we need we get information for the research, what kind of areas we have to do research projects, and also we can disseminate research results to the construction industry, because that's the most important one thing. Do we get that action and different kind of implementation what we create in the construction sector? And of course, we know that different companies, they are working quite a lot with the AI, and in that way we can learn from a university side what is happening in the field. And in the overall, we should have a common goal, and we will work together again to achieve this the goal. And overall, I think in this the first year we will create a mission, a vision, what we want to do in this work group. And actions, what we have planned to do. Of course, the knowledge change we will do in the field of construction research and innovation. And we will share, develop best practices and innovation solution, as I mentioned. And we will organize meetings and conferences where members can share research findings and ideas, and also experiences about the use of AI in construction. And we will prepare a yearly report and recommendations to support industry and in that way to share knowledge worldwide. And if we look at the first year timeline, we had a kickoff meeting in Purdue University in World Building Congress 2025 last spring in May, where we started and informed about this task group. But now we are in the first workshop, and this is an online workshop. I'm really happy to see so many people here. And as I mentioned, that topics are what we have today is the data economy and the standardization of the data, And also we have presentations of the productivity growth through AI, and we end up with the safety and well-being in construction through AI. And the next workshop will be in Helsinki. It will be in a hybrid workshop in AI in AIC conference in Helsinki. Maybe some people are coming there, and we will have that in a hybrid. And if you are willing, you can participate this workshop also online. And we will inform later about the time and share the links and so on. But today we have an online workshop going on. Also, you can find a link to the online workshop on chat. And there are a couple of questions, and you can influence what are the next topics which we will concentrate on next workshops. And of course, in a workshop too, in Helsinki, there is a conference. Maybe we pick up we invite some people to present their research or their development in AI. But however, you are able to propose also subjects there. And if you have very good development project or research project or implementation in construction sector, you are welcome to present your idea or implementation. So it's open for you. But anyway, go to the link and answer a couple of questions there. So we will get the information and we can focus on the next workshops and to build a very good agenda for the workshops. And yes, here you have, we will ask questions, what topics would you like to see in upcoming workshops? And you will find there is note sticks. You will write one item in one note stick, and Venla will be there and helping you if you have problems with that. And the other question is, what kind of AI-related research or development projects do you have going on in your organization? We are really happy to hear what kind of research we are doing all around the world in this AI and construction area. Okay, but I think this is what I wanted to tell you. And now we are coming back to the agenda. And the first presentation will be will present Dr. Osku Toro from Tampere University. So I will give the floor for you, Osku. 15 minutes around, and after that we have 5 minutes time for questions. And if you want, you can write the questions already on chat, or you can open your mic after presentation. Okay, so it's your floor, Osku.
Thank you, Pia. Good morning and good evening, everyone. My name is Osku, and I come from Tampere University. And here's my presentation: standardized data and artificial intelligence as enablers of data economy in building services engineering. And just a couple of words about me and my view on things and AI is that I work as a postdoc in Tampere University in the Knowledge Center of Real Estate Development. But actually my background is in information system science. So my view of things is that I look technology, I look AI, I work with AI developers, and I want to take this message to business owners in the construction industry. So I work as a sort of as a messenger between the construction business and the AI development. And in our project, our goal is a systemic transformation of the construction industry through artificial intelligence. And I truly believe that this is something that we can achieve. And the key problem that we want to address in our research, we all know that we are building our industry on the foundation of fragments. We have countless different PDFs, Excel sheets, We have disconnected BIM files. The data is in bad shape in the construction industry at the moment. And according to Autodesk, 20% of professionals' work time is wasted just because we search for information or we correct information. And according to Deloitte, up to 10 to 15% of potential savings could be achieved just through more efficient data management. And here we are not talking about artificial intelligence. We are not talking about new business models. We are just talking about the basic digitalization of our data flow in our field. And there are other ripple effects of bad data as well. Of course, time. If we waste time, we waste money. The budgets are being blown. There's a huge amount of manual reporting. At least if you live in the area of European Union, there's going to be a huge amount of reporting that is required in upcoming years. The reporting is tedious, that is error prone. There's a compliance requirements, project tracking, and so on. We have CSRD directive. We have IPD reporting that is mandatory for business here in the European Union. And what is even I think the most serious effect of bad data is stifled innovation. With bad data, we don't have data-driven business models. We don't have a transparent market for sustainable construction, and we don't have smart buildings or smart cities. And because the data itself, it's just not valuable because it's broken. The current situation is, as we all know, is that the BIM model, it just dies on the designer's desk. It doesn't, the data from the BIM model, it exists. We have all the necessary data in the BIM model, but it just doesn't flow downstream in the supply chain. We have fragmented data, we have PDFs, Excel sheets, we have disconnected systems, and manual recopying and entering the data all over again. And the standardization is, of course, a big topic. But without a common classifications and machine-readable data, the information just loses its value in the downstream in the supply chain. 3D model, it becomes a 2D drawing. That is not a digitalization. That is not that we cannot connect that to artificial intelligence in a scalable way because we lose the richness of the data after the design phase. And of course, our industry is a difficult situation compared to the manufacturing industry, for example, because we have project-based silos. We have unique construction projects, and data management has its own difficulties related to this project-based work. But I think that the change might be happening, and we all might have our own views on regulation. In the European Union, I think we have way too much regulation in many topics, but it can also be a good thing because regulation it actually forces our industry to do something to our data. It is an external force that forces us to change how we view data, how we view data quality, and it forces us to do something about things. And as an artificial intelligence researcher, if a regulation affects on the data quality, that is a good thing, and that is a good opportunity to think strategic reframing of our whole businesses. And I think we can actually start building our digital foundation, not only because of the environment, but also because our business requires that. And when it comes to business, my topic today is the data economy, and I think that we cannot build data economy without standardizing our BIM models. And in Finland, for example, we have a 3 Pro project where that was actually handled the standardization of mechanical engineering and plumbing data, so that the data itself in BIM it's in a machine-readable and universally understood format. But standardizing BIM models itself, it is not enough. We need to standardize also the product data itself. In European Union, we have a digital product passport coming in upcoming years, but that is not also enough. We need to have unique identifiers that are going to be connected to each of the products in our supply chain. But that is also not enough. I think we need to start thinking ontologies all over again. Ontologies is a topic that has been discussed for years, but without shared semantic understanding of our whole supply chain, we cannot tap artificial intelligence in our field in a systemic manner. We need to create ontologies and think about that topic again in a serious way. And if we have all that in good shape, the key problem still is not going away, because the BIM itself, it is a static file. That is a static file that requires an external software to be used, and that relates to serious issues when we want to have a scalable system, when we want to have artificial intelligence that are going to be connected to our data sources, because BIM doesn't have dynamic updates. It is a file. It's really difficult to update the file. But if we convert the static BIM model into a knowledge graph, it all becomes a totally new topic. I think we can connect, if we convert BIM into a knowledge graph, we can connect also artificial intelligence to the same data content quite easily. Then we have a semantic understanding of the data. We have a built-in version control. We can build queries to that data. We have sustainable automation, and we can connect AI agents into that data source if it is in the database format instead of a static building information model. And when we have a standardized data foundation, I think connecting artificial intelligence to that is maybe a trivial thing, because we have already many different technologies that enables a seamless integration of data sources and systems. But the data itself, that is the biggest bottleneck that we need to fix. If we fix the data, we can connect artificial intelligence in a native way in our existing data sources. So if we standardize building information modeling, product data, and use knowledge graphs, I think we can have completely new business models. For example, the raw data itself, it becomes a valuable asset. We can also build new AI-powered interfaces into these data sources and systems, and we can automate workflows with AI agents. And I have a couple of examples in the next slides about this. And this is our view of intelligent supply chain. Of course, on the bottom of this is the basic digitalization. But if the digitalization of a supply chain is in a good shape, we can actually use artificial intelligence in the data flow itself. So on the left side, we have a raw product data that is a data product itself. We have CO2 data, we have different tech specs and so on. And that is going to be embedded in the design, in the BIM model itself. And then the design intent itself, that is the data product itself. And from the EBOM, we can directly fetch data to the procurement phase. And then on procurement phase, we have another product, the data products, like we can find alternative products from databases, we can search prices, we can search lead times, we can actually do supply chain optimization through artificial intelligence if we have data in a proper shape. And also in the logistics and construction phase, we have the data that relates to real-time delivery and schedule management, and we can even have installation instructions in many different languages. All of those are data products if the data flow itself is in working properly. And of course, in the maintenance phase, we have a portfolio foundation data that is standardized if we have the whole supply chain standardized and handled with AI as well. There are many enabling technologies and frameworks that relate to this intelligent supply chain. For example, APIs need to be open, they need to be standardized. We need to have a structured data, as I discussed before, and then we can connect AI's semantic understanding to this data. The user itself doesn't need to understand standardization because the AI understands the user's intention. AI fetches the data from various different data sources with these smart search capabilities. And of course, we have different technologies that relate to monetization of the data and the data products. But the key idea is that our business models can shift in a way that the basic systems and the legacy software that we have, it becomes a reliable repository of this data, and the value is embedded in the data product itself. And the value is in the user benefit, not in the licenses of using these systems, but the benefit that is data is actually delivering to the end user. And when it comes to smart interfaces, I think we have many so-called functional data silos in our industry at the moment. So that means that it requires an expert to use every system, whether it's a design software or ERP or CRM or anything. It requires an expert to use the system. The data exists, but the usability of the data is quite poor because the information is locked and accessible only to a few people. But if we embed AI on top of these systems, we can just talk with our data. For example, we can ask in the maintenance phase that show me all the ventilation units on the floor 3 that need maintenance in the next 6 months. We can also use more advanced analytics, but we can just use these kind of simple questions, and the AI delivers the correct data for us. So we can build intelligent interfaces where LLMs act as a universal translator. Through that, we can break down functional data silos. And here's one example from procurement that we are already researching next year. The example is that the procurement engineer could ask, like, show me all approved lower carbon replacement products for the 3rd floor ventilation units, including installation components. And the AI agents delivers this data to this engineer and finds out that, okay, we have product X that has a better carbon footprint than product Y. It costs a little bit more and it's in the stock at the moment. But the product Y, we have 3-day lead time. So we can actually optimize what products should we actually order and what are the list of components in this product. So the AI could handle all of this kind of a supply chain optimization. And here I think the business model shift is that the easy to use and intuitive user interface for existing systems and data and workflow. So instead of selling the systems, we can sell the intuitive user interface to existing data. And AI agents, of course, they are the one key technologies here, that they are the autonomous systems that use the smartness of LLMs to understand goals. They can plan steps and execute tasks just like human workers. For example, if our goal is to generate a quarterly CSRD environmental report for Project X, the collector agent that queries the knowledge graph from S-built material data, the analyst agent that cross-references the materials with EPD databases and calculates the actual carbon footprint, and finally, writer agent that compiles the data into a compliant report and completes the report with visualizations. And of course, this slide is also made with AI, so the AI is quite capable nowadays, as you can see. And there are 3 action points that we are thinking that are necessary for the future. And the first of those is the immediate action is that we need to fix the BIM model, and we need to build a pipeline between the design and the procurement. So we need to fix the BIM data and connect that to procurement, and also adopt standardized mechanical engineering and plumbing design nomenclature to product data. And then we need to define the minimum data fields in this data and export that structured data straight to ERP. And besides that, we need to generate an automated parts list and use unique identifiers for each of the codes. This is the basic digitalization that we need to build, and we can do that already immediately. And the next quite important step is to focus on the ontologies again. We need to build ontologies for the design. We need to build ontologies for the procurement, operations, and construction, and logistics, and environmental reporting, and so on, in order to create a unified data space in our supply chain. But this is not a technical task only. It's about the collaboration with industry stakeholders, because it's all about inertia and all about collaboration. The technical part here is not the biggest bottleneck. It is the collaboration with standardization bodies for implementation. And of course, that includes our quite close collaboration with linked building data experts. And when we collaborate with linked building data experts, we can actually connect our data to real world use of AI. And when it comes to the use of AI, that is absolutely necessary to build an AI sandbox for safe AI development and testing. And this is actually something that we are already working here in our university. We are building a sandbox for AI testing and development in the construction industry, and that is a quite big thing for the future, I think. And about when it comes to AI development, I want to present our AI Champion research project. That is a Business Finland's co-innovation project. And the funding decision for this project was yesterday, and we got the money. It is quite a big project. It is a 20 million euro project, and our goal in this project is to build 100 open source AI agents that are specifically tailored to the needs of the scalable AI-enabled supply chain in Finnish mechanical engineering and plumbing supply chain. And the founding companies in this project, we have Koja, Schiller, Granlund, and Fira, and Tampere University is the main research partner in this project. And we also were recognized through Ministry of Economic Affairs and Employment in Finland and got the status of Data Economy Growth Program as well. So we are not in this project focusing on just the technical development. We need to think about business models, monetization, and so on, because technology, I think that is not the biggest bottleneck when connecting data and artificial intelligence. Thank you. Here was my presentation, and this presentation was based on me and Pia's report, Standardized Data and Artificial Intelligence as Enablers of the Data Economy in Building Services. Unfortunately, this report is in Finnish, but I bet that it's going to be translated in English in the near future. Thank you. Do you have any questions about my presentation?
Thank you, Osku. Yes, we have one question here. Can Osku please advise what he used to create the graphics included in this presentation? Is this AI generated or a program?
It's Google's notebook LM. It is a great tool, and the graphics were the presentation was based on the report. So I used an actual our own ideas, and from those own ideas we created the presentation. So the AI itself, it wasn't doing the thinking on our behalf. Google's notebook LM, just check and use it. It's quite good nowadays.
Thank you. Okay, Ahmed,
any
you
other
have a
questions
question?
about the topic?
Yes, there is one. You may open your mute.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Okay, we can hear you. Yes, please.
Yeah, just a quick question. Actually, is divided into two. Basically, the first one: how the procurement will affect organizing your data, whether it's like design bid build or design and build. I'm talking about the early stages of organizing your data. The other question is about I think you touched on it already. Is about the format of the document and the data, whether PDF, Word, CAD. What are your thoughts about unifying them and make it readable and recognized by AI? Thank you.
Well, the basic idea is to use databases, not PDFs or Excels at all. And the basic idea is to standardize the building information model, just as we have been doing here in Finland, and standardize the product data and connect those together. And we can fetch the data from the BIM model and convert that as a knowledge graph. That is a database. And that is also the foundation for procurement as well. So the pipeline between design and the procurement is going to be just automated, and there's no AI involved in that process at all. AI is coming aboard on the issue when we try to find alternative products, when we try to optimize our supply chain, but the basic digitalization and the pipeline between the design and the procurement, it's not related to AI at all. And the PDFs and Excel sheets they are something that we don't want to use at all in the future. Did it make any sense?
Yeah, okay. And could you write your first question to the chat? So Osku can answer that, or me, I can answer that later. Is this okay? Yes. And then we have another question from Chris Allen, please.
Morning, Osku. So I think my question is, look, we've been talking a lot about that first part in terms of the BIM infrastructure, or the basis for the data for an extended period of time. I'm just, I think the human component in this is widely underrated. And I'm just wondering from, looking at that report that you haven't quite finished, what has come out of that in terms of the importance of the human aspect and the training and knowledge in terms of that creation of the initial data source to then use going forward. Is there anything interesting coming out of that in terms of like how AI might actually improve that?
Yes. Yes, if I understood your question correctly, that was that's an excellent question, because the human component exists, and we just don't want to fix BIM model. We want to fix BIM modeling itself. And if we have a standardization ready, I think the AI can assist with when building assist designers to build standardized BIM models, because the designer itself doesn't need to remember all the details about standardization, because the artificial intelligence can suggest correct property names for the BIM model, for example.
Yes, and overall, it's very important to have a research in interaction of the AI and the human and the workers, how it works, because as we know that AI can't do everything. We need always people on the loop. Yes. If we take one question more, and then if you have more questions, you can write there on the chat. We can answer the questions afterwards also. Yes, please, one question more. Michael? Oh, sorry, Alok, please. You were the first. Yes.
Okay. Morning, Oscar. I just wanted to ask a specific question. We do have a lot of open source data when it comes to IFC files, so as to develop or develop these agentic systems. But I've been trying to look for data from other sources, like legal contexts or other data, to train a specific AI. Do you have any suggestions on where to look for these kind of data apart from the IFC models?
So sorry, the voice was a little bit cracking down. I didn't hear everything that you said.
Sorry. No, I was just about I'm also working on developing AI agents for agentic workflows. So yes. It's easy to find a lot of IFC files for developing agents which can talk in natural language. But when it comes to other data like contract, legal documents, or RFIs, do you know how to access these kind of data? Because it's very hard to find them from industry.
I don't have a specific understanding of the technical details of that topic, but that is also under construction in our AI Champion project. We need to tap AI into those data sources as well. So maybe if you ask again in maybe after 6 months, I can provide you some more details.
Or 1 year. We will come back.
1 year. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. I see the hands up, but unfortunately we have to continue. But Michael and Davide, please write your question on chat so we can answer that. So we will continue our program, and the next speaker will be Mr. Pat. Sorry. Mr. Broadbrink from Netherlands, TKA, Boven in Techniek. And please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and great to be able to present also my addition to the story. I hope you can share my screen and hear me properly. Otherwise, please let me know.
Yes, it's okay. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And I think my story built nicely upon the previous one from two perspectives. One, I think it's quite complementary, since I will take a little bit more an economic and systematic approach to the topic of today, AI in construction. But secondly, where the synergy sits is in the word collaboration, because I do believe that if we want to deal with the challenges in the built environment we face, the only way forward is to collaborate. And I think also the answer to the last question about access to other data than just BIM data, IFC files, but contract data, tender data is through collaboration. We need to collaborate as an ecosystem also in this development. So that's a little bit the bottom line of my story. Finally, the presentation I give today, I will also give during the conference in Helsinki, AI for AEC, where your next workshop will be. I heard yesterday. So you have the sneak preview also a little bit. And a great moment for me to practice whether this story lands with you as well. So the title of my presentation is how do we use AI for better outcomes and enabling productivity growth, and how we take from the Netherlands that topic seriously going forward. A little bit about myself. I've been around in the industry for 20 years and have been working on digital transformation primarily from a business perspective, and currently at a national level. So I'm not a researcher by background. I did finish my university once 20 years ago. So I take also not per se the university or research perspective, but a little bit more holistic, as I said. Secondly, a topic that's close to my heart is how do we connect the challenges we face in the built environment with the potential of data and digital technology. And I have done quite some work internationally on digital twins, for example, through Building Smart International. But I also think currently AI is a topic we really need to embrace as a sector and really use for the challenges we face. Because if you look at the challenges, and I show you a little bit the Dutch perspective and the Netherlands as a case, but if you want to know, it's around 4 to 8% of the European Union. So that gives a little bit better insight in the numbers, of course. We have a huge challenge in our country because we are a densely populated country. We have a growing number of inhabitants. So we need to build a lot of houses where we lack the space to build so. We have a lot of existing houses we need to decarbonize and other buildings as well. And we have a lot of aging assets, around 8,000. And if you look at what we do today and what we should be doing, there is not just there's a significant, impressive productivity growth needed to deal with those challenges, around factor 2 to 3. So we really need to step up. And we have also set some targets by law, by European law, by national law, which we have to comply with. So the pressure is high for the sector to move up. But the true story is as well that our industry, the construction industry, is compared to other sectors not growing in productivity. You see the graph on the right-hand side. And especially the last 10 years, we stopped growing from a productivity perspective, labor productivity perspective. So our output per employee is not growing, which is, of course, giving the scarcity of capabilities a big issue and challenge. And next to that, it's not just about labor productivity. Also, construction in the Netherlands is, after the basic metal industry, the number 2 biggest user of scarce resources. And giving also the global developments in that field and the scarcity of resource, the need for a circular economy, that's also a challenge. So we have multiple challenges, a kind of perfect storm we have in our industry. And that is an issue for industry, but it's also an issue for economy. Because if the built environment or if the construction sector isn't progressing, is not delivering, other industries will face the challenges of that. Because logistics will need roads. High tech will need factories. People need houses. And so we are really, and we see that in the Netherlands currently, the importance of our sector is growing in interest and relevancy, and also how do we help this industry to become more productive as such. Visualize, simply said, We have aging assets, climate resilience, all these kind of topics you're fully aware of on one hand. But on the other hand, we have productivity growth that's not growing. And I go in much more detail, but I won't do that today. We have a lot of aging workforce. So we also don't have a lot of knowledge will leave our industry in the next couple of years, and it's already happening. So how do we retain that knowledge in a way? And also the number of inflow of employees in our sector is not growing. That's a little bit also a political choice, societal choice. We see in Europe wider. Nevertheless, the only way up is to do more with less and do things smarter. And I think we need to take everything that's there, and I think technology can really help us as long as we're able to take the steps we need to take for that. And I think the previous speaker also said some really relevant things about the importance of data, information, and the ability to use that properly to reduce time, to reduce throughput, to do things smarter and better. A little bit about how we do that in the Netherlands is this is not about technology. This is about, okay, we see these challenges and we concluded we need to much better collaborate between public, private, market, the market, the industry, government, and research institutes on these challenges. We collectively need to develop these innovations, these scalable innovations required for this challenge I just discussed. And we do that in a way, as you can read yourself, we really try to bring people together. And one of our largest programs is toekomstbestendige leefomgeving, a future-proof built environment in English, where we it's a program with above 200 million euros budget, where we really collaborate with the industry in that way on innovations that need to be developed, and we only can develop collectively, because collectively we have the knowledge, we have the data and information to do so. And I show you a couple of examples later on this topic. Now, back from my background, and I think about digital transformation, I see the opportunity. How do we connect that digital transition and the green transition better? We really need to do so. And we really need to step up, because our industry construction is at the bottom of the graph on the right-hand side in adopting AI today. And all kind of reasons for that. Project-based is one of them. We see AI adoption in the Netherlands within companies happening, but within projects it's limitedly, and beyond that, we still are in our silos experimenting a little bit, whether it's in research, whether it's in construction companies, whether it's in engineering firms. So we really need to step up. And there's also a huge opportunity there. If you take a little bit of wider perspective, there is also acknowledgement for that. So on the left-hand side, you see the recently launched Apply AI strategy of the European Union, where they really acknowledged that engineering and construction is an important sector we need to invest in if we want to get the better outcomes we want. Also for climate and the environment, also for public services like housing and public real estate. So I think one, it's acknowledged. Secondly, we have at a national level also our AI strategies, and they say a couple of important things on the right-hand side. We really need to connect the potential of AI, the AI ecosystem, to the big challenges we face, and part of the challenges are about climate resilience, aging assets, decarbonization, housing. And we say a couple of other things here. We want to do that based on a federated system of data sharing. So it's not about one big silo of data, but really how do we do that right? We create an ecosystem of data sources, of digital twins. Now, if you're interested, please look at the papers we wrote from Building Smart Digital Twin working group perspective once. It's also about how we make the blend, which was addressed in the previous question after the previous presentation as well, between people and technology in the right way. And we really need to step up and heavily invest in the infrastructure required and the policies and the boundary conditions to make this work at scale. So there's an interesting context. But if we look then at our sector, again, we did a research end of last year about applying AI in our industry. And besides that it's being applied within companies, but not yet within collaboration as such, we see people struggle, companies struggle with knowledge. What is our AI about? The knowledge about, we really need to educate. There's a lot of education, digital mindset to be built. Again, the quality of data and the interoperability of data is a huge issue. They're stuck in silos. We need to overcome that. And I think AI can be part of the solution there as well. and how do we do it safe and secure, and especially in public environments in a privacy proper way. And so what we did initiate from our position at the national level, a Build by AI program, really said we need to help build an ecosystem for AI in the Netherlands. We really need to mobilize the front runners in the sector on this topic, whether it's from research, from government, or from industry, and really start collaborating on this topic. And to drive this a little bit, one of the things I did over the last year was write a paper about the renovation challenge. And there's one big challenge about decarbonizing existing built environment and how we triple our output there and how AI can help us. And the outcome of my analysis was, okay, yes, there are a couple of examples, but at each large program where we address these challenges, and because that's the way we approach these challenges at a national level in a public-private program or partnership, we really need to make sure AI is being part of the programs. We need to integrate it. We need to address. We need to work on specific use cases, develop these use cases. We need to build a leading ecosystem because no one holds the knowledge alone. We need to raise the digital mindset for everybody involved. And I think that's 70% of the task we are up to. And we need to do it right with the proper governance. And using this framework, I took it one step further a little bit and say, okay, if you look at AI for our sector, where should we look at in a kind of condensed way? What is important if you want to raise productivity and better outcomes using AI? And I think there are four kind of application areas or where I see use cases. One is me, myself, and AI. How do I use it properly for myself? And I think with the Gen AI development, we see a lot of uptake of large language model using the ChatGPTs and the perplexities, etc. But that requires, there's a lot of potential, but also a challenge. How do we do that right? Secondly, with the emergence of agents and agentic AI, increasingly see that the companies look at how can AI help me to automate or improve processes. A use case I see a lot of traction and speed upon is tender processes. How can we partly automate using agents the tender? Can we speed up time? Can we make the information loss less? Can we raise the quality? And I've seen across the industry impressive results using agents for tenders, but it's internally focused within your company. So automating workflows using AI. The more challenging side is on the right-hand side. How do we use it in our projects to better collaborate, make better decisions in design, during construction, at the construction site, to make sure we are safe, etc., etc. I think other presentations will address that a little bit more. And last but not least, it's not just in products, but the buildings as such, the bridges we build, but also the products that are in that. How do we embed AI on top of that? How do we make our buildings smarter? How do we make the components in our buildings smarter, that they automatically can improve the quality for the users, like comfort, etc. Now, I think a lot of potential there in all these areas, and we need to work on all these four areas in parallel. It's not just one focus area in my view. We need to, as an industry, work on those four in a background that we need to raise our AI mindset as a sector. So it's not just about capability, but understanding what it is, what the impact is on your workflows, because workflows will change by using AI. And you have to start with the question, what will my workflow be before you start building the AI, and not the other way around. It's not a tech push, but it is a tech pull, should it be. Data quality, discussed previously, the importance of ethics and regulation, how do we do it right, and how do we do it collaboratively, and not just within my own silo, within my own project only, because yes, in the short term you will speed up, but it won't bring us the triple three productivity growth required. Now, a little bit, how does this then mature? So one of the things we initiated and started quite recently is that we started a national AI program for housing. Well, housing is one of our most important challenges in the Netherlands currently. It's the #1 theme in our latest election even. So the challenge, how do we make housing affordable and sufficient housing for the people in our country? And we need to do that smarter. It takes far too long to build new houses in our country. It has to do with legislation and resource scarcity and space scarcity. How do we do that much more in a productive way? Through prefab, through industrialized processes. And how do we reduce the throughput? We take 10 years for a building project. It needs to be reduced. And I do believe that AI can really help us because it can partly automate the processes. It can reduce complexity or deal with complexity to give us relevant insights. and really can help us to scale better. Because one of the potential of AI is, of course, when you build the agent once and it's safe and secure and it does its job, it can be scaled, yes, at a cost of energy, and we need to acknowledge that, but not at the cost of labor, which is one of the other challenges we faced. Now, what we do in this program is indeed build a sandbox. So a sandbox for housing where we really can test and experiment with the ecosystem to make sure that the data is there. Secondly, we really develop and build and implement an AI mindset program. So really, how do we help our stakeholders, not the digital expert, but our policy makers, our decision makers, our procurement specialists in using AI in the right way, and what does it take? And we need to make sure that the boundary conditions, the technical conditions, like use of open standard, federated data sharing, but also how do we deal with privacy and other ethical conditions, are clear and explicit for the use for our use cases, and not in a more generic way as they are today. And I do believe by having this program next year, we really can build on some great use cases and some great and build that ecosystem. We really need to take this forward. Now, in other programs like the Future-Proof Living Environment, a large program, we see also interesting developments. So one of the challenges we look into there is, and it's a research program of Amy Sterrenberg, is about road maintenance, and the challenge about how do we better prioritize or better define maintenance strategies for our roads within the city of Amsterdam. And one of the challenges there we see is that it's really about kind of how do we use the power of AI to be more predictive, where we should intervene, where we should focus our scarce resources on. And I think you see in this example, and you can read for yourself on the right-hand side, it's really bringing together asset information with engineering knowledge about degradation and physical models developed there. Bring that together, develop an AI agent to enable decision-making, and by going this loop from, okay, if we take these parameters, this is the impact, what is the outcome, and how can we change that, we gradually deliver an AI agent using deep reinforcement learning. I think what is the interesting insight about this project, for me, besides that it's technically interesting from an AI perspective, is we can only do this because we collaborate with an ecosystem of industry and municipality, because they jointly have the data required to build this model. None of them individually has. So we need to get that conditions right to be able to develop this specific use case, and to get the quality of the data right, the access to the right information, and be able to these models that is beneficial for the city, but also beneficial for contractors or maintenance companies, because they can much better prioritize their scarce resources again. That's one example we're working on today. Another example we see emerging is much more about building regulation. Building regulation is quite text and visual heavy. So of course, large language models can be quite easily used to check your building design against permit regulations, to automate validation of your design towards the regulation, to investigate what is the room I still have to build at a certain plot, etc. And the company developing this was facilitated by a program where we have a large scale-up program in our the program as such, really helping these kind of promising start and scale-ups with great ideas, with using that really add value to the society to take this forward. And I think about 20% of our municipalities are using this solution today already. So we really see an uptake of using this kind of smart tools based on AI, in this case an LLM, to do these kind of things. I'm almost there, by the way. I'm cautious of time. Another project I briefly want to share is this one, and this is the challenge with our housing in the Netherlands. You see on the left-hand side, built in the 60s, where we really have a decarbonization and renovation challenge as such. And what we do in this research project is really bring together all kind of sources into one AI model. And I think that's one of the challenges. It's not just about BIM data or visual data, imaginary, but I think what they did here as well, they start talking to the architects of these buildings and really started using that. The recordings of that was added to the model as well. And what does it make interesting? It gives us an insight. Okay, where are the opportunities to really better structure our renovation for these kind of objects? So having said this, I think in my view, if we really want to step up the economic, environmental challenge we face, and we really need to grow our productivity, AI provides us a great opportunity to do so, but we need to collaborate. No one can do it themselves. We need knowledge, data, capabilities from everybody within our sector and beyond our sector. And I do see, luckily, in our programs, great example emerging. So thank you for your attention. And if there are any questions, happy to take them now, or I will respond by chat.
Yes, thank you very much, Bart. It was really interesting to hear your presentations. And just one comment, it seems that we have quite a lot of common working in an AI sandbox. And we need to really share our experience of doing the concept development in AI sandbox. But any questions? Or you can write your questions to the chat also. Maybe not so far. So if you have any questions, just write in the chat. Thank you, Bart. So we will continue our program, and one moment, I will share the program. Then we will continue to the Italy, and Dr. Fluio Cescioni, I hope it went right. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Pia. Let me just share my screen. Here we go.
Yes.
Yeah, great. So good morning or good afternoon, everybody. I'm Fulvio Cescioni. Just let me spend a few words about who I am. I graduated as a civil engineer and then got my PhD in building engineering. I worked 15 years, more or less, as a project and construction manager before moving back to university at Politecnico di Milano, where now I am the head of the bachelor program in building and construction engineering. My teaching activity is mostly related to project and construction management, while my research activity is dealing with investigation how digital technology are reshaping the construction industry. I'll give you a brief outline of my presentation. I'll add some question about why AI matters in the construction sector, why trustworthy AI matters in health and safety, and then I'll talk a little bit about a work we are doing with Mina Oroye-Sadat, which is a PhD student I have the privilege of supervising. And while we are working on health and safety using AI, and I will show you this later. So first of all, why AI matter in the construction sector? I'm a little bit disappointed because some 10 or 11 years ago, I published a wonderful work on using neural network to predict mold grow on facade, and nobody cares about it because it wasn't it wasn't based on generative AI. Generative AI changed everything. Now everybody are enthusiastic for this kind of AI because it seems easier than any other kind of AI we had previously. And so we are in a kind of such situation that's in the picture on the right. Everybody wants to use it, and even though they do not know what to do with the AI. And our construction sector is not an exception in this. If you want to, and everybody in the sector want to use AI. I talked to some young entrepreneurs in the North Italy, and I gave us it was a series of lecture I gave to something like 30 young entrepreneurs in the north of Italy, and I start this series of lecture on innovation in construction with a questionnaire. These are two of the questions I asked, and they are very interesting because they show what is the situation of our sector now. So everybody, more or less, 80% of the answers pretend that the company was using AI or has project to use AI. But then after some questions, I asked also if the company has procedure to collect data, and only 5% of the answer replied positively. So only 5% of the companies I surveyed do have procedures to collect data. And as the first presenter pointed out, data are the foundation on any reliable AI system. And so this is a picture of the problem we are facing. Another problem is the fact that there is a research by Microsoft here in Italy that says that 65% of the companies they survey, so not only construction company, in 65% of the companies, employers use their own ChatGPT or whatever model they use to do business activities. And this is a huge problem because it can generate a lot of it can generate errors in many activities because the model is not based on quality and standards of the company itself, because you are giving to public your own data and so on and so forth. We develop a more deep view of how a company can measure if it is ready or not to adopt AI. The reference is on the right below the picture. We divided this self-assessing tool into 7 pillars: vision, data, system, digital foundation, talent, value, and governance. And we try to, and we ask questions to companies and in a way to assess if they are ready or not to adopt AI. As you can see from the picture, we assess a lot of companies, almost 100, all over the world, not only in Italy. We divide them into very huge companies, more than 500 employers, and very small company, less than 20, and then between 20 and 500. As you can see, small companies are more or less better in all the pillar of the AI readiness because they were mostly startuppers and very prone to develop and use AI in the construction. On the other side, very huge company have a strong governance and a huge amount of data, which are a very strong pillar to AI adoption, but they lack of vision, maybe I don't know, maybe because they are a little bit older and they need to improve in this field in the management. Anyway, let me go through why trustworthy AI matter, why we need to trust our own model. How many times we correct an LLM if you ask a very precise questions to your ChatGPT, to your Gemini or whatever, sometimes you get the wrong answer and you just correct him and they say, oh, you're right. And I found this comic picture on LinkedIn that picture the consequences of a wrong answer. So we need to trust our model, and because confidence and reliability make people adopting the AI. They make it, people are more willing to use AI when they can trust it. A trustworthy AI include some safeguard to avoid discrimination. We all remember the first version of DeepSeek that didn't answer any questions about Tiananmen Square and the events happening there. Trustworthy AI ensure accountability, so it helps detect the errors and enable corrective action. And most of all, if we trust AI, we are more likely to adopt it. So stakeholders will embrace technology that can rely on for consistent benefit. In health and safety, this is much more critical. There are two different kind of problems. One is if the answer from the LLM or whatever the model you use, if the answer is wrong, it can be a missed hazard, so you do not recognize some problems that are occurring on your construction site, or it's a false alarm, and that will somehow give the same problem of the cry wolf, the famous fairy tale we all know. So this is an unreliable AI is a problem. It's a problem because failure can cause injuries on people, can cause damage on the environment, and can expose the company to legal action. Moreover, data with real data from the construction site are noisy, and so a trustworthy AI is more robust and will give better response. And last but not least, the trustworthy is essential for adoption on the field. Workers must trust the AI model we work with. Let me go deep a little bit into health and safety. It's proven by many authors in different industries that each fatality its major issue is related to a number of minor issues and a bigger number of near misses. What is a near misses? A near misses is an accident that didn't happen because of luck, because of a very lucky condition. So regardless of the numbers, the ratio, I put here two different sources, but the ratio may change from industry to industry, but the overall accepted concept is that if we learn from near misses and we take action from near misses, then we prevent major injuries on the construction site or in any industry, actually. What is the problem with detecting near misses on a construction sector? While a factory is a confined and standardized environment, we are working in a construction site that change constantly, so the environment always change, and it make it difficult to standardize observation, even just as a matter of pure location. A person who may be in a part of the construction site, but the construction site can be huge. Think about railroads or so on. Then on a construction site, we have multiple contractors and subcontractors. Everyone may have a different procedures to report missing reports, and so we have a fragmented reporting. There is, unfortunately, a low reporting culture. So many many workers are fear the consequences of reporting a near misses because they fear some disciplinary action to be taken on them, or because there is the perception that reporting a near misses is pointless. Then, in a construction site, we know there is a high labor turnover, so people do not have the habit of reporting. They should be trained, and not always they are trained on this. We have a production pressure. We need to do. We need to, and so most of the time, speed of working is prioritized then, and much more important than reporting and so on. We have a limited digitalization, so most of the reporting is still made on paper, and these take times. Near misses are not always clearly recognized. Recognizing near misses is a complex task, and eventually we have a classification challenge. So every one is used to call an hazard in a different way, and so this is another hurdle we have to overcome. The idea may be, okay, we have huge language models, large language model. They can be visual language models or large language models. Let's use this to help us recognize the near misses on a construction site. This is a basic idea. Unfortunately, this idea is not working so much because of a series of barriers I want to show you. The main one is the hallucination. I took this picture from a very interesting paper where a group of computer scientists set up a tool to measure how reliable a model is. And as you see in these images, Polygemma, which is a very good model, recognize a fireboat or a cat in an image where there is no fireboat and neither a cat. So one of the problems you find if you use a large language model in health and safety is that you will have hallucination, and this hallucination are a problem because they generate the cry wolf situation. So they find out problems that are hazard that are not hazard. They moreover gives you a non-standard name, so they call the hazard the same hazard in different ways, and the large language module lack of any legislative framework. Let me show you the last model of ChatGPT. I asked the model to analyze the image you see on the top and identify hazard to works health and safety. I don't know if you can read in the video, but what happened is that there is a general confusion between hazard and site condition. The floor being worked on appears unfinished. It's not an hazard, it's a site condition. The model identified 9 main potential hazards, some split into multiple secondary hazards, with some repeated several times. So this cry wolf situation, the idea is that large language models or visual language models are trained to give an answer, and it seems that the more they write, the better the answer is. So they are trained to make a very long answer, and this generates hallucination. And eventually there is no, even in the single answer you get, there is no standardized naming of hazard. In the example, there is, for example, fall hazard and trip and falls, so the same hazard named 2 times with different names. And all these are problems if you want to work on near misses, if you want to make statistics, if you want to improve your health and safety procedure on site. So what we did, what Mina Sadato-Roy is working on in her PhD is, okay, let's build a multimodal AI safety assistant. There are, as you all know, there are mainly 3 ways to improve the behavior of the model. You can work on prompt engineering, so a better prompt for your model. So you ask the model to write less, you ask the model to write in a specific way. You can provide some few shot learning, so you can use a few shot learning techniques, so provide some example to the model and let the model learn from these examples before giving you the answer. You can use retrieval augmented generation, so you can give a specific knowledge of the topic to your model, and eventually you can fine-tune a model. Fine-tuning a large model is possible, as we all know, but it takes a lot of resources, both in terms of data. You need a lot of data, and most of the time these are missing in our construction sector, and it needs a lot of resources in terms of computational power that, again, is not so common in our sector. So what we did is to use the first 2 techniques, so prompt engineering and retrieval augmented generation, to go through from an image or a video. There is no difference in this, some visual processing, then another detection, retrieving the legal content, and then producing a multi-language report. Let me show you how this model works, and then it's based, it was developed partly in Italy and partly in Canada, so now it works on 2 different kinds of legislation, and with the same image it finds out 3 main hazards. It gives you a regulatory background, so every hazard is related to the legislation for that hazard. So let me conclude that this by saying that trustworthy AI in construction safety is necessary, because the model we have now are not enough reliable to be used in such a critical sector, and to avoid cry wolf, or worst of all, to not detect a real hazard, we need to train and use a very specific model. And I hope that this tool Mina is developing, we call it Build Safe AI, will help users to improve safety on the construction sector. Here my presentation ends. I will be happy to answer any questions, or otherwise.
Thank you, Fluya. Very interesting, and you brought very important issue, trustworthiness of AI, and especially in this kind of health safety issues. And yes, one question, Osku, please.
Thank you for this interesting presentation. One main question relates to the visual world. That is a nasty thing when connecting large language models to the visual world, because our physical world cannot be standardized. What's your view on the topic that do you think current LLM architecture can they ever overcome this cry wolf problem because of the hallucinations and because of the reality that we cannot standardize the visual and physical world?
Okay, I'm not a computer scientist, so my answer is based on what I read. There is a very interesting paper. A very interesting paper came out, I think, less than 1 month ago, where some computer scientists proved that hallucinations are due to a lack of context. So they say if you provide enough information, so the context is large enough, there is not going to be hallucination anymore. And in this sense, every model now is providing a wider context. So in this sense, we will be able in the future, according to this paper, to have model without hallucination. I don't know if this is the right way. I can tell you that our model, our pipeline actually, because it's not a model, it's a pipeline that can use different kinds of models. Has a very low hallucination rate. We are below 9% of hallucination. We tested it on something like 1,100 construction site images. So we can reduce hallucination working on fine-tuning, reticle augmented generation, and prompt engineering. Meanwhile, we will wait for a larger context, so to provide more information to our model.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And otherwise, if you have any questions, please write on chat and if you may answer the questions then. And then we move to the fourth presentation. And please, Dr. Molomi Ralile from Nelson Mandela University, the floor is yours.
Good day, everyone. Thank you. Let me just quickly share my screen. Could you please share on your side? I did send you the presentation this morning.
Yes, let me pull it up. Or did you just? Okay, yes. There you go.
Are you finding it? Okay. Can you all see?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, just a second. So thank you very much. And my name is Motlomi Radile. I'm from the Nelson Mandela University in South Africa, Port Elizabeth. I'm from the Department of Construction Management, and I'm a construction health and safety lecturer, and I'm also a researcher in that space. So my interest lies in mainly looking at the health and safety issues related of the construction workforce in general. So I think today I'll just be more playing devil's advocate to all the conversations and perhaps in a different perspective in terms of AI. So I'll be looking at the role of artificial intelligence, specifically looking at the critical concerns or the critical issues. I have noticed that most of my colleagues have covered a lot of areas in terms of the benefits and in terms of what we can benefit from AI. However, one of the key questions is what is the future of construction? What will be the future of construction, and how will the construction industry look like in a few years to come with advances, especially the accelerated growth in terms of AI developments? So just excuse me a bit, colleagues. Sorry, I was just, yeah, thank you. So one of the critical questions is, as I had mentioned, what would be the future of humans? But before I address that, perhaps just to refresh our minds, what is artificial intelligence, so that we can perhaps look at or understand the bigger picture. And this is just making machines behave in a way that human beings would actually behave and even do better. And this is something that was conceptualized by Alan Turing back as early as 1936. So just the brief types of artificial intelligence, and I believe everyone in this meeting or in this session actually knows that we have narrow intelligence, general artificial intelligence, and super intelligence. So at the current stage, we are already seeing signs of super intelligence with our large language models, which can sometimes outperform our abilities. However, we can safely assume that we are still at AGI in terms of the intelligence explosion. So this is just what Ivan Good mentioned or indicated or highlighted in 1965. Let an ultra-intelligent machine be defined as a machine that can far surpass all intellectual activities of any man, however clever. So in as much as we talk about the limitations currently, but the accelerated growth is even scarier. So looking at how AI learns, it learns exactly the way we learn. And these are some of the techniques that it uses. And it has the ability to think on its own. It has the ability to make its own decisions. And we have seen examples of such. And it also has the ability to create its own hardware. We are not yet there. However, once we get to a stage where AI is able to create its own hardware, then at that point, we are basically doomed. Because it renders human beings useless. Now, in terms of construction, we can see the deployment of humanoids already on construction sites that can already charge themselves when they feel that their batteries are a bit low. They can actually perform some tasks which we cannot perform as human beings. And working alongside this, these humanoids, I don't know what to call them, a species, because AI is becoming another species, a silicon intelligent being. What will be the consequences? How will our vicarious liability look like on construction sites? How will human beings feel? And these are questions that we are already asking ourselves. So looking at the evolution as far back as 1936 to when it was first coined artificial intelligence in 1955/1956 by John McCarthy, we can see that predictions by Alan Turing is actually what is happening now. That was 50 years ago. And all the milestones from 1997, when the IBM Deep Blue defeated the world champion in chess, in 2011, won the game of Jeopardy, and in 2016, AlphaGo, which is one of the most complex human games, it actually invented new strategies to defeat a human being. So this is the ability that AI has. Yes, we have AI hallucinating, but it can overcome its hallucinations given enough time. So this is what becomes a concern in terms of what will AI conceptualize? How will it think? Are we even going to be able to think ahead, or is it always going to think ahead? And are we doomed? So what is the construction industry doing? Are we ready for this accelerated change? With deployment of humanoids, AI-enabled robots, autonomous decision-making, accelerated designs, automated compliance. So these are some of the key issues that we also have to look at: AI legislation and the regulatory framework in construction. AI is accelerating at a faster pace than legislative frameworks in any country. Yet this is the most I would say this is the most complex or the most dangerous innovation, or I would say invention, humanity has ever come across or has ever invented. More dangerous than the nuclear weapons, because this has the ability to actually invent new things. So, but the legislative framework seems to be lagging behind. And I'm speaking from a global perspective. In EU, in Africa, where Africa we are even far behind. Government funding in terms of curriculum, in terms of injecting funds into research institutions to ensure that we are safer, and the attitudes and perceptions of the workers in construction. I have delivered some of the addresses in South Africa and spoken about this issue, and to my surprise, most construction professionals do not understand exactly what AI is capable of. We often assume is just maybe our gadgets being able to assist us with certain tasks, but we don't really understand the extent to which we are reliant on these devices, the extent to which they are de-skilling us, and the extent to which we are going to be so much reliant that even the professionals lose their professional skills. And this is where the danger lies in. So is there organizational support within our construction context, or are we just focusing on the bottom line? Okay, AI can assist us achieve 1, 2, 3, but are we looking at the bigger picture? Educational systems, universities, do we introduce this in our curriculums? Are we preparing our students to be ready for a future where they are going to work alongside humanoids, or they are going to be replaced by some of these machines? Health and safety concerns in general, more of an ethical perspective. What will vicarious liability look like? If a humanoid maybe is responsible for a near miss on site, or is responsible for an accident, who is responsible? Is it the designer? Is it the employer? Is it? So these are philosophical questions that we need to start looking at. And the implications of the future of employment, we are going to look at job replacement. Massive jobs are being predicted to be lost of this. The need for reskilling and upskilling, the risk of job displacement, especially in repetitive low-skill tasks. However, I would argue that even managerial tasks are currently being replaced. It's going to render us useless, de-skill us, cognitive overload. We are already faced with that, and a lot of intellectual deficiencies are going to be a problem. It may be a problem for older workers, but I care more about the younger generation who are growing up in this era. The emergence of new roles in digital health and safety, data ethics, and AI oversight. So these are some of the issues that we have to think hard about. They need to ensure inclusive access to digital opportunities and protection. So other challenges would include transitioning or digital transition in and even SMEs. So what would be the future of SMEs who cannot necessarily have the ability to invest in some of these devices or technologies, or acquire AI-enabled resources, such as BIM? So what will be the future with SMEs employing the majority of the workforce in most nations, especially looking at the context of Africa? Access to digital tools and training. Current legislation often lacks, and this is something that I highlighted earlier. Privacy, who owns data, and who is in control? The bias in AI models can reinforce workplace inequalities, although they can also de-bias, but how are they going to de-bias themselves if they are already making decisions for themselves? Organizations lack readiness to assess emerging tech risks. So we are more focused on efficiency, making money, productivity, but we're not thinking about the future of work and how the construction industry is going to look like, which is something I coined as the construction industry apocalypse. That we are going to see potentially a shrinking economy. One of the, I think it was Bart spoke about the importance of infrastructure to any country's economic growth. Infrastructure is important, and it supports all the other, I would say, industries. However, if you're going to have robots that don't feed, that don't get remunerated, where does the bulk of the money go to? How is the money going to be circulated in economies? So this could be something that we also have to look at in terms of, yes, we deploy robots, we deploy humanoids, we have fewer workers in the workplace, but now how do we sustain an economy? So rethinking humanity, what will human beings be doing when all these machines now take over their jobs? Because obviously we'll be subjected to instant gratification, which is also not helping us. More problems than solutions. Who is in control? Is it tech giants? We see Elon Musk is forever becoming rich. We see China now deploying many humanoids. And it's kind of an existential crisis where we have to think about, is it going to be survival of the fittest? So getting ready, we do have to strengthen legislation, data privacy, right to disconnect, and health and safety in robotics, promote industry academia partnerships for digital occupational health and safety research, equip our occupational health and safety professionals with AI literacy and change management skills to prepare for this apocalypse. Ensure AI tools are worker-centric and rights-based. Conduct continuous risk assessment for newly developed or deployed technologies. Foster a culture of innovation without compromising workers' health and safety. Unfortunately, AI is here to stay, and the future of work is digital and data-driven. So AI is revolutionizing how we predict, how we prevent, and how we manage risks. So adoption is accelerating across all industries. So the construction is also doing the same. And yes, we have challenges in construction, such as the slow pace of work, such as challenges with compliance, in as much as it's assisting us. But what is the bigger picture that we have to look at in terms of its impact on humanity or human beings, on the construction workers themselves? So AI and digitalizations must complement, they should not replace human judgment. However, this is a question that anyone who owns a business would have to think critically about, because it goes beyond, I would say, ethical, or I would say corporate social responsibility, or whatever we call it in the business space. It goes to say, how do I make money quicker, faster? And it creates a conflict between what is morally just and who owns the business and the decisions that they can make, and the autonomy within their organizations in terms of the systems, and who has the money, who has the control. So it poses a lot of multi-layered questions in terms of, in as much as, yes, we want to protect our workers, but at what cost, and is there a buy-in, or are we going to have to manage all of these trade-offs? So occupational health and safety must evolve to protect workers in a digital work environment. While now is the time to invest in research, I think we are a bit late. So a proactive, collaborative approach is critical. And from the context of Africa, I would say we have a young population with the potential to become leaders, and also a potential to become suppressed. It's also a two-way or a bidirectional or multi-directional approach. So the future is bleak, and we can see other industries where we thought they cannot replace humans, but it's actually happening. And we had also assumed that with construction, it would be very difficult, but it's actually happening. So my view of this whole situation is, how do we protect our industry such that we are not going to render human beings useless in the age of artificial intelligence? Thank you.
Thank you very much. You brought very interesting issues in your presentations. Is there any questions so far? Yes, please, Francine. Yes.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Hi,
please.
thank you very much. That was an interesting presentation. I have a question for the speaker. What I'm grappling with regard to AI at the moment is the fact that it is more of the same. We are regurgitating the information we already have and the knowledge we have already compiled and the data that is at hand. And we are using large language models to give us exactly what we need from these large data sets in order to just have more of the same. And what we currently have in the construction industry is we are hoping for perpetual growth, and we want to do things quicker, faster, and as you have said, for profitability, for money. So my question is, how can AI be utilized to stop that, to find ways for us to live within the carrying capacity of the planet, within a future for human beings? I don't think the problem is that AI, or my biggest problem is not that AI will replace humans. My biggest problem is that humans won't be able to continue living on the planet.
Thank you. Yeah. To be honest, I can't really answer that, because as I had indicated, the future is bleak. We are uncertain about the future. However, there have been some hypotheses that have been postulated about what would happen. And one of them, I think it ties to the God AI hypothesis. So we actually going to go to AI for solutions, to ask it questions. So this would be something, are we going to be able to trust AI to even give us solutions? And what would those solutions look like? So I think it's more to do with that. And but again, what solutions will AI come up with? And are we going to trust those solutions? And again, if we are already asking for solutions from AI, where do we stand? So for me, it's more of a concern again, that even escalates the discussion.
Muthlumi, thank you very much. Thank you for that answer.
Maybe I can continue a little bit. I think, for example, what we are doing in an AI Champion project, we want to use AI in supply chains management. And that would help us to use more environmental safety materials in construction. And in that way, the building more low carbon future. when we understand better during the construction process what materials we use and what we procure and what we build, and finally what we do in a utilization phase, how we maintain different for example, air handling units and what kind of equipment we use there. In that way, AI helps us to build more build a low carbon future. This is my idea also how we can promote with the AI. Thank you. Okay, is there any other questions? Not so far. I noticed there are very interesting discussion. Oh, Osku, please.
Thank you for this interesting and overarching presentation. You mentioned, Maholomi, you mentioned human AI collaboration. Do you have more views on humans and AI working together? And what's your research approach to this challenge? Have you thought about this? What these future roles could be? More than just human is the decision maker, but do you have more details on this topic on your mind?
And it's just basically the approach from a legislative perspective. I did mention vicarious liability. I think we need to first look at those issues in order for us to say we can work alongside AI. So it's also a matter of data privacy and security of the workers. So I look at it from a perspective of the legislative framework first. So AI safety first in terms of legislation. How do we regulate? How do we ensure that the decisions that AI makes are something that we can support, and who is responsible? So I think that is the first thing that I have just been looking at that. But in terms of the other responses, I cannot really speak to that. This is something that I would say is a very gray area. Because the advances and the motives and it's just very, yeah, it's just very too advanced or too multifaceted to actually say I can specifically pinpoint one solution to a problem.
Yeah, thank you. That is a really tricky question, and there are so many angles when addressing that. My view is from social psychology views, because the AI agents are like human-like workers, and I think we could also address these issues through social psychology, how to build the actual interaction and trust building patterns. But yeah, tackling these problems in AI Champion as well. I'm looking forward to discussing with the topic later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Maholomi, and thank you. We are moving to the final part. Yes, you have worked in online, and maybe I share the online. This will be open after this workshop also, so if you get any new ideas, you are able to include those there later on also. But the first question was, what topics would you like to see in upcoming workshops? And I noticed there are a couple of themes and items. The first, building operation, digital twins. Second one, HVAC systems, indoor air quality. Then construction scheduling, very interesting, and also AI in metaverse, in map systems, and also about AI agents. It seems that we have very good subjects here already, and we will discuss with the colleagues and maybe pick up some of those themes to the next workshops. And thank you also bringing some research and development projects, what you have going on in your organization. And this is very interesting to see what kind of research we are doing all around the world. And okay, but if you get any new ideas, please just put a new sticky notes there, and so we will read it later, and when we start to prepare March workshop. Yes, and of course, next steps, how we continue here. in this task group. And the next thing is that we are going to build a working platform and it will be established for this task group. And later on, you will find all the materials and up-to-date information related to this group from this platform. And we will inform you later how you can find your way there. And really next hybrid meeting will be in March in Helsinki. And of course, you are welcome to propose your own presentations for next hybrid meeting because we are going to build a couple of presentations there also, and maybe having a kind of online workshop, and also people who are present having a workshop. Please send your proposals to the Venla Mäkinen. You will see the address there. And overall, we will check the subjects what you propose. If we can find some very interesting presentations from the conference, also to share their view also in this task group. And you are also welcome to Helsinki to this conference. Maybe you can check that also. And next hybrid meeting, we will send the invitation all of you who are online. If you don't want to get the invitation, please inform us. Then we are not going to send it. And also we will share information through CIB website and LinkedIn. You can follow also the website and LinkedIn posts of CIB. And next workshop will be still open for everyone. And of course, we encourage you to consider joining CIB organization. There are very much other activities also, not just AI and construction task group. And you will find more information from the website of the CIB World. And if you have any questions, you are able to ask me or Don Ward about the CIB organization. And so far, is there any questions? Anyone? No questions. So I thank you very much taking part in this first workshop, and I'm really sorry we had some problems with the Teams link, and thank you very much. My colleagues were fixing that, and we got all you online. Thank you very much. I hope you see you in the next workshop. Thank you and bye.